Thank you for joining us today to discuss how you can harness the hidden knowledge in your data with Empower Data Science Link. My name is Jack Smith, and I will be joined today by Jason Loftus. We are very excited to talk to you today about Empower Data Science Link powered by Tetra Science, also known as EDSL, and how it can help you gain meaningful insights from your Empower data. Your data tells a story. With Empower Data Science Link, you can see what it's saying. We all are either part of or heard of a Lab of the Future or digital transformation initiative. So why all the buzz? Well, 71% of manufacturing data is unused, yet is rich with insights. Chromatography data makes up 70 to 80% of laboratory data, and for many of you, that data is Empower. Compliance has always been at the forefront with Empower, and keeping the data secured in the Empower databases help to ensure compliance. But it also means that data is in silos and structured in a way that makes it difficult to gain meaningful insights. But what could you see if we unlocked your Empower data? With EDSL, we break down silos and allow your Empower data to provide actionable insights and outcomes. This slide shows just some of the insights and outcomes that can be unlocked through EDSL. It can help with resource utilization of locations and labs, as well as the utilization of systems and people. Start to tie usage with out of specification results to identify patterns. Orphan data is data not processed, reported, or accounted for, and auditors will want to know why it exists. EDSL can give you visibility to that data. When it comes to column performance, you can track column usage to identify points of failure, or track general usage information to help identify needs for your column inventory. What if you could know that a column fails for a critical method or product between the 900th and 950th injection each time? So you could begin to replace that column at the 875th injection and stop an OOS from happening. There are endless uses for overlaying chromatograms. You can monitor impurities visually, view method performance indicators, and see changes in stability samples. Control charting is available across projects and across databases. For example, chart system suitability parameters, custom fields, and areas across Empower projects to quickly identify outliers, trends, and methods with issues. You can also have better adherence to SOPs and data quality control by quickly checking for items with respect to your SOPs. For example, you can see projects or methods aren't named appropriately, or that data isn't processed using the correct algorithm. All of this, of course, depends on what you want to investigate. I want to reemphasize that all of these examples can be done across projects and across databases, which means a multi-site view of your Empower data. With easy access to this information, do you think you could predict a failure from happening? How does access to this information impact you, your laboratory, and your business? What could this mean for your business partners or your customers? Overall quality can be improved while gaining efficiencies in the lab and increasing the speed at which product is released. Problems can be identified and issues can be avoided while reducing costs. Think of Empower Data Science Link as your Empower Data's navigational system. EDSL can solve the challenges associated with unlocking your chromatography data for data science using automation, centralization, and harmonization. Standard views or dashboards can be built by you, with you, and for you. And then if you need assistance with exploring your data to uncover insights, Waters can help you accelerate your digital transformation. An Empower agent is set up to automatically sweep your Empower data as near real time as possible. Depending on your use, you may only want certain projects automated with regular intervals. Your Empower data is automatically uploaded into a data lake for centralized access. Once in the cloud, your Empower data is harmonized into an easily readable format. You are now able to connect to visualization tools of your choice, such as Tableau, Spotfire, Streamlit, and others, to configure and share dashboards to get real-time insights about your data and develop predictive indicators. There are many ways in which you can use Waters as a resource as you look to explore your data and accelerate your time to insight. If you already have a data science team, we can assist them with understanding your Empower data and help to identify where potential issues or opportunities may be in your data. Or if you don't have a data science team, you can use Waters as an extension of your organization and let us be your data science experts, kind of like a data scientist in a box. This slide gives you a closer look at the process of EDSL. You'll have a standalone Empower client on-prem or in the cloud. The Empower agent is an executable that is running based on your instructions. You select which projects to monitor and at what point you would like the agent to look for new data from the selected projects. The Empower agent identifies that new data exists and then it automatically sweeps that new data into the cloud. This means that after your initial scan, the agent is only looking for the delta or new items to sweep to the cloud. Once the data has reached the cloud, the data is now harmonized and created into a readable format of JSON. We will now move on to discussing the different tools you can use to visualize and provide insights into your now accessible data. Now that your data is in a readable format, you can use data science applications like Streamlit or Jupyter Notebook, or even data visualization tools like Spotfire and Tableau. You have the flexibility to choose the best tools for your particular needs. We can also assist in deciding what tool may be best based on your environment and use cases. These tools will allow you to collate and visualize the data outcomes required and are easily customizable based on your needs. Once a dashboard has been developed, it can be published to a larger audience. This audience will have the ability to filter but not change the dashboard. Only the creator can change. And as I've been saying, this isn't just across projects, which in itself is a huge benefit, it's across databases. And now I'll turn it over to Jason, who will show you some of what is possible with EDSL.
Hi everyone, my name is Jason Loftus, and today we're going to demonstrate Empower Data Science Link, also known as EDSL. Before I get started, I want to go over a couple of things because EDSL is not a data visualization or a data viz tool, but what you actually see in an EDSL demonstration is the data viz tool. So I want you to think of it like this. I want you to think of EDSL as cans of paint, and I want you to think of our data viz tool as the paintbrush. So although what you see in a demonstration is being created with our viz tool, with our paintbrush, the data, the paint, that actually comes from EDSL. Today we're going to be using Tableau as our paintbrush, and we've painted a few different dashboards to demonstrate that EDSL is a tool for compliance, for gaining insight into your laboratory's business operations, and for gaining insight into your lab workflow. If you don't see a demonstration or you don't see a dashboard that's compelling to your business, that's okay, because with EDSL, we've unlocked your Empower data and presented it back to you in a way that makes it accessible through whatever data viz tool you want to create whatever visualization you want to hopefully gain whatever insights you need into your laboratory's operations. I'm going to get out of the way and start the demo now, and I'll be back later with some parting words.
The first thing we're going to show is a cross-project trending dashboard called Analyte Control Chart. The story behind this dashboard is as follows. Imagine that there's been feedback from someone in the laboratory that a particular assay is not robust and has been causing difficulties. Wouldn't it be helpful if you could quickly look at some historical metrics about the assay? With EDSL, you're able to trend Empower-generated data across all of your Empower projects and across all of your Empower servers. Here, we can see metrics about a single peak. The metrics show us the calculated amount, retention time, plate count, and tailing values for our analyte of interest, which in this case is called main peak. It's been set up to cover data that has been collected in several different projects over a selected period of time. As you can see from the filters in the top right corner, we're able to narrow in on specific databases, projects, and samples. Finally, each metric has been set up to show the 3 sigma boundaries, and any data points outside of the 3 sigma boundaries are highlighted in red. As you look at this, keep in mind that what you're seeing with your eyes is our data viz tool, but the data used by that viz tool, that data comes from EDSL. So back to our story. We can see that over the last 2.5 years, within the selected databases, projects, and samples, there has been exactly one instance where something was out of trend. If we hover over the out of trend data points, we can see that this data was generated by someone named D. Schuler, who, for the sake of our story, also happens to be the same person that voiced concern about the robustness of the assay. So perhaps, in this instance, this is less of a robustness issue and more of a training issue. The control chart was set up to trend multiple parameters about one peak, but as shown here, we could just as easily set up a control chart to trend one parameter over multiple peaks. Before I move on to the next sample, I want you to think about what kinds of insights into your Empower data you've always wished you could generate. Think of all the times that you thought, it would be cool if we could see our data this way, because with EDSL, those ideas are now in reach. This dashboard, which is called User Audit Dashboard, focuses on compliance and data integrity. Many labs have a need to better understand their operations on different levels. This could be on a facility, building, lab, system, or user basis. The lab analyst is probably the most important part of a laboratory's operations. Gaining insight into how your lab analysts work and what your lab analysts are working on can help you better allocate resources, assign or improve training processes, monitor SOP compliance, and overall, achieve a better understanding of what's happening in your laboratory. Because EDSL has extracted and flattened our Empower data, while also maintaining the relationships of that data as it was in the database, we're now able to create almost any viz we can think of. In this viz, we have 2 simple selectors in the top left corner that allow us to pick a specific Empower user and a date. This viz has been set up to then show us how many electronic signatures that user has performed, how many injections that user has made on a per system basis, how many injections that user has made on a per project basis, the names of the sample sets that user has generated, the number of data channels that have more than one result, which means something has been processed more than once, and a pie chart showing us all the different types of manual integration that user has performed. A viz like this one could easily be adapted to show different information because the relationship of everything in Empower could always be traced back to a single user, but now, with EDSL, it can be traced back to a single user and presented in a visual format, allowing you to make critical business decisions based on easy to understand and factual information gleaned directly from your Empower databases. We're now going to show a project metrics dashboard called Project Metrics Scorecard. The story behind this dashboard is that there's a need to better understand overall workflow and SOP compliance on a project-by-project basis. Auditors sometimes look for anomalies and habits in the lab, like are all injections being processed, are all channels being processed, and are injections or channels being processed more than once. It's also nice to know whether compliance around signatures is being adhered to. If you could build a single dashboard to show how your lab is performing on these kinds of metrics, what would you want to see? In this viz, we've built a simple compliance dashboard to help spark your imagination. On the left side, we can see some filters for the time period, Empower database, and Empower project. In the blue section at the top, we get a quick overview of the workload for the project, including the number of sample sets, injections, results, users, systems, and methods. In the main area of the dashboard, we can see some color-coded metrics that help us get a better idea of what's going on in our lab. Red means something probably needs to be investigated. Yellow means something might need to be investigated. And green means something probably does not need to be investigated. The metrics we've chosen to show in this demo dashboard include various ratios of injections, collected channels, processed channels, and results. The color coding is based on thresholds that we've defined for this demo and could be whatever you want them to be. The dashboard also shows us a ratio of how many results have a level 1 signature and how many have a level 2 signature. This viz could be altered to show different kinds of metrics or to show more granular results, such as the total number of injections that have no corresponding result, or the total number of channels that have multiple results. Hopefully, your imagination is working on trying to figure out what stories your own data could tell you. Next, we've created a system overview scene called Lab Utilization Map. The story that we're trying to tell here is that the laboratory is struggling to keep up with demand. Sample backlog is growing, and users are asking for more instruments to increase throughput. Before we can justify a capital expense to add more equipment, we need a better understanding of lab operations and utilization. Normally, this would involve an extensive investigation that would require a time-consuming data aggregation and compilation process. Wouldn't it be great if you could pull up a viz that provides actionable insights into your lab workflow that could potentially allow you to adjust your operations to improve efficiencies and save money? With EDSL, you're able to see into your laboratories and power operations in ways you may never have even imagined because all that data that was previously tied up in Empower has now been extracted and compartmentalized in a way that makes it accessible to the data viz tool of your choice. In this viz, in the top right corner, we can see the total number of injections and the total number of runtime minutes for this building over a given period of time. Below that, we can see the same information broken down by lab on a per system basis. Just to the left of that, we can see the same minutes and injection metrics for each system in the building. On the left side, we can see a map of the building, the physical location of each system, the number of systems in each location, and the names of various laboratories. Right away, it becomes apparent that systems in the green, blue, and orange colored laboratories have a much higher utilization than the systems in the other laboratories. The systems in the red colored laboratory appear to be hardly utilized at all. If we consider the reasons why this might be the case, it could be that the red laboratory is inconveniently located. It's kind of far away from the main cube farm at the top of the map, which is where the analysts sit, and it's difficult to reach in relation to the wet chemistry area where the analysts prep samples. Perhaps relocating those systems from the red lab to the pink lab would boost their usage. The brown lab and the purple labs may offer another opportunity to improve efficiency. The purple lab, although physically close to the wet chemistry lab, has entrances that make accessing it inconvenient. It might be better to relocate the systems from the brown lab to the purple lab and repurpose the brown lab as another wet chemistry area. The immediate power of EDSL is easy to see here because it gives you access to information that can be utilized in new ways to help you make impactful business decisions. In this dashboard, we've painted a picture of a specific building, but hopefully your imagination is thinking of expanding this to a global site survey because with EDSL, this kind of viz is easily within reach now. What we've shown so far are a few pre-created demo dashboards, but I think there's some value in seeing how these were created, so let's make a simple viz on the fly. First, let's start by looking at the source of our data. From here, you can see that I'm connected to the Amazon Athena Data Lake, Data Catalog, and my EDSL database. The table section shows the aggregation of information contained in EDSL in a format that we can easily make use of in the data viz tool of our choice. This is the power of EDSL. These are the cans of paint. To help this all make sense, let's go through the process of creating a viz. For this viz, let's say that I want to see a list of all systems that have been used. I can do this by opening the injection table and dragging the system name field into the builder. Now let's say that I want to know who has used a particular system. This is easily accomplished by dragging the username field into the builder. Because all of this metadata is linked in those tables, I now have a simple table that lists all of the systems in the first column and all of the users that have generated at least one injection on a given system in that second column. If I wanted to filter this by project or by database, I could drag those fields into the filter shelf because, from the perspective of EDSL, those are just metadata fields. So far, we've just been working with one table though, so let's see what happens when I add data from another table. We'll open up the results table and add the results count field to the builder. Our table now shows system name in the first column, username in the second column, and a count of results generated on a per user per system basis in that third column. Perhaps, instead of knowing what systems have been used by what user, we want to know which systems a user has used. Because that metadata is all linked, we can find that out by swapping the placement of those two fields, which will cause the data linkage to be reorganized and presented back in a logical format. Now, this table is fine, but we've hardly created a visualization. So if I want, I can turn those numbers into a bar chart, or a heat map, or any other viz format that makes sense and helps me paint a picture that tells the story that helps me better understand my lab's operations.
So what we've just shown is a tiny fraction of the possibilities of what you can do with EDSL. There are hundreds of metadata fields in the data lake that allow you to create almost any visualization you can think of to gain actionable insights into your lab's operations. I hope I've sparked your imagination. I hope you found this demo helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you, Jason. Now that you have a better understanding of what's possible with EDSL, I'd like to review again some of the outcomes or services Waters can deliver with EDSL. As we have discussed, Waters can be your data science arm and create dashboards or visualizations within the tool or application of your choice. Or if you have a data science team that has expertise with visualization tools and time to create dashboards, our consultants can assist you or your experts in understanding your Empower data and help to identify where potential issues or opportunities may be in your data. Your experts will become self-sufficient and will be able to create dashboards on their own. If you need additional help beyond these deliverables, we have an experienced professional services organization that can provide consultation, leverage your Waters Empower data experts to help identify the opportunities and meanings in your data. Our consultants can create additional dashboards or provide consultation to your in-house experts. Once again, thank you for your time today, and I hope you were able to see the possibilities of Empower Data Science Link. I just have one last question for you. Do you want the power of your Empower data?